I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and In my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean, Joe Biden. You think the country went...
I mean, yeah. Could you imagine? Let's get started. It's a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Thursday, September 19th. Happy to have you here. Welcome into another episode of Live with Chris's World. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Have some guests coming in. We've got Angelo, who will be in here. We've got Greg from the Generation Mars podcast. Greg, we see you in the live chat here. He says, hey, that's an illegal video. I'm tattling to the California governor, Mr. Newsom. Gavin Newsom would not be happy with that video that we just played, as they are going to ban any fake AI type of content in the state of California. Good luck with that. If you live in California, it's time to go. We talk a lot about the threat or the attack on free speech. We talk about this all the time as if it's something coming down the pipeline. Like, yeah. The threat is it'll be here soon, or it will be here if Kamala wins. Guys, the threat, the attack on free speech is already here. We showed you a bunch of clips last night. If you missed last night's show, check it out. I mean, we showed you the hard evidence. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, they want to censor America. The Democrat Party used to stand up against censorship. But the age of the JFK Democrat is long gone. And the new era of the Democrat Party is here. They're a bunch of Satanist freaks. And that's what they are. And we're going to call them out on it every chance that we get. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight on another episode of Live with Chris's World. As always, this program airing on X and on Rumble at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, I started out something really, really cool. A couple of weeks ago, we've been fine-tuning it, and now it's to the point where I'm ready to release this to everybody, release it to you guys. I wanted to release something that was going to be a valuable resource. I want to add value to your lives. I don't want to bog you down with bullshit. So as many of you know, I'm the founder of Free Voice Media, and we just came out with a daily newsletter. So let me show you guys this really quickly here. The Free Voice Media newsletter. Let's see if we can get this up. Here it is. I put the link to subscribe. It's totally free. It's 100% free. The email will come to you at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every morning. This newsletter will be sent to you. It's totally free to subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you guys checked it out. This is this morning's newsletter. Trump granted presidential level of security, an analysis, breakdown of what, how, why that happened. Of course, we all know. Democrats voted against the spending bill, the SAVE Act. They make it very clear they hate America. The breakdown and analysis on that. Trump's rally in Long Island was awesome. Breakdown and analysis on that. The FBI confirms Iran hacked the Trump campaign. Breakdown and analysis on that. And, of course, more as well. So, guys, I have a team working very hard on this newsletter. We are doing our absolute best to provide value to the audience and the followers that we have on X. So I'd appreciate it if you just check it out. Just give it a look. If it's for you, subscribe. If you're like, I don't know, but I'm sure it will be for you. If you're a patriot who loves trending news, current events, and you are sick and tired of not getting the news that you want through legacy media, because legacy media, let's face it, Legacy media isn't going to show you news that doesn't fit their agenda. So we filter news so you don't have to. Here at Free Voice Media, it's all about facts and truth. And we're giving you that with this daily newsletter. So I'd appreciate it if you check it out. It would mean a lot to me. You can find the link to subscribe and view today's newsletter in the comment section from the Doubted Views page. The Doubted Views page put up the link to the newsletter. So we're going to get right into this show here. We've got a lot to talk about. Let me give you the rundown real quick. The Teamsters doesn't endorse Kamala Harris. She just met with them 2 days ago. How bad did she perform in that meeting? Clearly, it must have been awful because the Teamsters have endorsed every Democrat candidate for president since Bill Clinton. Think about that for a second. That's like 30 plus years, right? I mean, she's got a problem on her hands. Charlie Kirk was at Penn State. There's no doubt about this. Pennsylvania is the most significant state in the election that we have coming up. Some say the winner of Pennsylvania could win the whole thing. I believe Donald Trump has a route to victory without winning Pennsylvania. Many believe that as well. It's not just me saying that. But Charlie Kirk is in Pennsylvania and Turning Point Action, as always, doing the work, registering voters and getting the young people involved. So we're going to cover that. Secret Service is now investigating Elon Musk. Elon Musk put out a tweet about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And now the Secret Service is investigating Elon Musk. Hasn't there been 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump in, I don't know, like the past 60 days? But they're worried about chasing after counterfeit money. Yeah, counterfeit bills. That's the Secret Service does that. And going after the world's richest man. I'm going to talk to Angelo about that. Greg from the Generation Mars podcast. Many of you know Greg. We're going to have him in, talk a little bit about the Trump rally. And then I have Jason Stands for Truth. He'll be closing the show with me tonight. And we'll talk a little bit about the Trump rally, the spending bill, Trump on Gutfeld, all that good stuff. So it should be a packed show. I'm real excited to have you all here tonight. Another episode of Live with Chris's World. We're going to get right into these topics right frickin' now. All right, so the first thing that we're going to discuss here is this whole Teamsters thing with Kamala Harris. So the Teamsters have endorsed every single president, every single Democrat nominee since Bill Clinton. But they didn't meet with Kamala Harris. They just met with Kamala Harris this week. How bad could that meeting have been for them to say, man, I don't know. Think about that for just a second. You endorse every Democrat running for president in the past 30 years, but the first Black Indian woman running for president, you'd figure, right? She'd be a shoo-in for that endorsement, but no, she was not. She's got a problem on her hands. Let's watch this video.
Came out.
And then we'll talk about it a little bit more here.
We knew that there was going to be some announcement from the Teamsters about their endorsement plan. And they came out and said that they are declining to endorse either candidate in this election. But let's put up, if we have them, the polling from the Teamsters Union.
Wow.
This is their phone polling among their members, 58% Trump, 31% for Harris. And then they also had an online poll where Harris was 34 and Trump was 59.6. We know that they have historically in modern history, or at least the last few decades.
Look, the people want Donald Trump. Here's what she was showing. Here's what she was talking about. The next poll. You know what's funny with these polls? You just can't trust the polls. I don't mean this poll in particularly. I mean the polling that you hear about through legacy media. Oh, it's a tight race. It's a tight race. Kamala's up 1%. Guys, why is it that the polls were so grossly off in 2016? The week leading up to the election, they had an 80% and everybody, 80% chance Hillary Clinton wins this thing. how all that, I mean, that was a gross miscalculation by every polling company out there, because all of them had had Hillary Clinton as the large favorite to win in 2016. Obviously, we know what happened, but let's just take present time for an example. Here you go on to Fox News, you're on CNN, you're on MSNBC, ABC, wherever it might be, and they're telling you, oh, it's a tight race. Oh, Kamala's up here, there. Baloney. Every time you log on the internet, whether it's X, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, any single platform that has a poll, and when you see, oh, who do you vote for president? Provide me one place where you're looking at Kamala Harris winning. There's never a blowout for Kamala. She's not even really ever close. I would challenge anybody to show me a poll on social media where she's winning. So, but I say that to say this. Social media polls are real people. People are on these platforms. They see these posts. They vote. They're the American people. We know that's how social media works. With these polls, have you ever been called to be polled by a polling company or by a media company? Is there anybody that you know that has been called or polled? Maybe one or two of you will be like, yeah, but 99% of you are like, good point. No, I've never been called. Who the hell are they polling? What are they? Where are they? Like, guys, it's either an extremely small sample size or it's an echo chamber. And that's what you get out of legacy media polls. You can't trust them. They always contradict what you see online. They always contradict the betting markets. You think that these books, Vegas, betonline.ag, you think that these books are fucking around with their revenue? Hell no, they're not. You trust the betting lines more than you would trust the polls. And that has been credible in many instances. You go back to the midterms 2 years ago, it's very credible. So I say that I had to get that off my chest. The Teamsters thing, I mean, this is, I'm not surprised. And I wonder why they even released the polls showing that all their people are in favor of Donald Trump. Like, why even release that? Either endorse him or don't release those polls. But I mean, it's almost like read between the lines. Like, they are endorsing Donald Trump by releasing this information. They're not going to say it, but they're like, hey, read between the lines. That's what I get out of it. Let me know if you think I'm out of touch, or if you think I'm spot on. Let me know. I'd be curious to see what you think about that. But all right, let's talk about Charlie Kirk real quick, and then we're going to bring Angelo in here for the Secret Service investigating Elon Musk. Absolutely blasphemous. But let's talk about Charlie Kirk for just a moment, because Turning Point Action, Charlie Kirk, I'm very proud to do work with Turning Point Action. I don't work for them. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I'm very close with a lot of people high up in the organization there, and we do stuff together quite often, and they're a great organization, and I really, really appreciate Turning Point Action, and everybody should, for doing the work that they do. Here they are, Penn State. The campus rally season continues. This is absolutely insane. So here's what's funny. Let me try to find the post that I'm looking for here. You have Kamala, you have, where is it? Here, hold on. You have Charlie Kirk, who they say, here it is, Turning Point USA Tour draws hundreds of supporters and protesters to Penn State. Charlie's response, we had thousands of supporters today at Penn State and about a dozen protesters. What is this press headline? Turning Point draws hundreds of supporters and protesters to Penn State. No, there were thousands of supporters and about a dozen lame protesters. The receipts. You see how the legacy media, I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at the supporters. Look at the protesters. It's hilarious. The legacy media, they'll either need to come correct, tell the truth, and be fully transparent, or they will continue to die the slow death that they have been dying over the past 4 years. The reason why is because with the power of independent news and news sources like X, like Rumble, people are getting their own news without the need of a third-party network. These networks have done nothing but cover up for the deep state, the establishment fucks that have ruined all of your lives, our lives, my life. They said, look, Republicans may not be the solution to all your problems, but Democrats are sure as shit the cause of them. And hey, that ain't my saying. I'm not going to take credit for the saying. I hear that on the Dan Bongino show all the time. I'm a big fan of Dan. Love Dan. Appreciate Dan. I'm a Florida guy. He's a Florida guy. But he's absolutely right when he says that. Absolutely right. Turning Point Action, man. Turning Point Action. Doing great work. Speaking of Turning Point Action, guys, make sure you join their coalitions. I'll play that video in just a second. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. I'll be having on Angelo, great patriot. You guys are going to get a chance to get to know him, as am I. First time that he's coming on the show. Real excited to have Angelo on here and add another person to contribute and add value to the Live with Chris's World program. After Angelo, we're going to have on Greg from Generation Mars, and then Jason Stands for Truth. So don't go anywhere. We've got a packed show. We're going to be talking about how the Secret Service is now investigating Elon Musk for a Twitter post. The Secret Service taking their attention away from assassination attempts to go after the world's richest man for a Twitter post. Something's just not right there. But we're going to talk about it. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Look, America has never been as divided as it is right now. So for all my fellow patriots out there looking to make an impact and participate with saving America, boy, do I have a suggestion for you. Go over and check out my good friends at Turning Point Action. You have to see their coalitions. If you're somebody who is passionate about saving this country but don't necessarily know where to begin, this is your go-to spot, and I guarantee you will find a coalition that aligns with who you are and your interests. Look, we all know Turning Point Action does great work, and they're one of the main reasons that the America First movement is as strong as it is. So again, if you're looking for a way to participate, be sure to check out Turning Point Action coalitions and join one today. Look,
if you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says,
tuned in to Chris's World, a daily podcast covering the controversial topics of today through a conservative, patriotic lens. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Chris's World.
This is, I don't know. Look at Elon. Take it easy, man. Whoa. For anybody who used to watch Drake and Josh, I know I'm probably, when I reverse dating myself, because I'm sure there are not a lot of 30-year-olds watching this. I'm 28. I grew up with Drake and Josh. There's that famous episode where they're in the movie theater and Drake's like, "Whoa, take it easy, man." It's like Elon, "Whoa, take it easy, man. The Secret Service is coming after Elon Musk." Why, do you ask? Well, Elon Musk made a Twitter post that they didn't like, but it was very true. Good point that he made. It's a good question. It's a valid question. He asks, why does nobody go after Kamala Harris or Joe Biden and only Donald Trump? It is a good question. Why? Why? You notice it's always the most powerful and profound leaders that get assassinated. That's why they go after Donald Trump. So we've got a guest coming on. We've got Angelo Soto coming on. Very happy to talk to Angelo. Great guy. We're going to get to know him right here and get his thoughts on this situation and a little more, hopefully, as well. So we're going to bring in Angelo right now. Angelo, man, how's it going tonight? Very good to have you on, brother. You might be muted there, Angelo. There you go.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, thank you very much. I value your time and appreciate you coming on here tonight, my man.
Thank you for having me on.
Very good. Very good. So, Angelo, real quick, since this is your first time on the show, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself for anybody who might not be familiar with you or your work? Could you just give us a quick, maybe 30-second rundown? What are your passions and what you do here in this niche?
Yeah, so I am 24 years old. I just graduated school about 2 years ago. I got a degree in political science and business administration. I'm from Michigan, Ann Arbor area. Whitmer is terrible. And I have served as a comm director, and I've worked at several different think tanks like Heritage and CPAC and the Family Foundation as well. So I'm heavily involved in the political scheme of things. So.
Very good. Very good. Well, we appreciate the work that you do, brother. We know guys like you are making a difference, and you're in an extremely crucial state in this election. Before we get into this topic, Angelo, can you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing on the ground there in Michigan? Do you believe that Michigan is going to go red? Do you believe it's going to go blue? Obviously, you talk about Gretchen. She's no good. I was just in Detroit for the Turning Point Action event in June. It was a phenomenal event. And I got to tell you, man, by the looks of it, the people of Michigan, to me, want Trump. But am I seeing it wrong? What are you seeing?
So I was watching the Flint rally, the town hall with Governor Sanders, and it was about maybe like 10,000 people there, I think. And I think that it's going to be very close there. The majority of Michigan is red, except in areas like Detroit and other places, right, which are more densely populated, right?
Right.
But and I think that he is going to flip Michigan because I think the people of Michigan are sick and tired of Kamala/Whitmer's reign. I'm sorry, they're done. It is the people of this country who vote for their leaders, right, Chris?
Yep.
And it's concerning to me that people aren't stupid.
Correct.
They're not, and
they see right through it. They see right through the bad policy because you know what, Angelo, the fact of the matter is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have gotten up there for 3 years, looked at the camera, shook hands in person and said, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But guess who doesn't go to the grocery store or the gas pump twice a week, Angelo?
They don't. It is, I think, asinine to me that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden try to pander to my generation, our generation, Chris.
Yep.
We have to inherit this mess from them. She had 3.5 years and did nothing about it. Nothing at all, except
100%
send
right.
our taxpayer dollars to Ukraine and what have you, right?
And
It's
allow 20 million people unvetted to come through too. I
Mhm.
mean, she's
Yes, yeah.
I challenge Democrats every time I meet them, Angelo. I say, hey, look,
Mhm.
if you're so high on the horse for Kamala, can you just tell me in the past 4 years, what's your favorite accomplishment of hers?
Mhm.
And it's like the best way to break a liberal's brain. That or ask them to define what a woman is,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
She has no
yeah.
policies, man. Nothing at all.
Yeah, it surely is no good. So, Angela, I mean, clearly we have an attack on free speech. Kamala Harris, she's come out, she's for censorship. Tampon Tim Walz,
Yes.
he's for censorship. Now
Yes.
we start to see, obviously, what Brazil has attacked X big time. In Europe, they're arresting people over social media posts currently. People are in jail. They're letting out criminals and then refilling those cells with people who are violating speech laws in Europe. It's absolutely insane. But now we look at Elon, and the Secret Service is going after Elon for something that I consider to be absolutely a fucking joke. Not only is his post quite literally a joke, but it's a joke that they would take it serious.
Yes.
Is this, in your opinion, the beginning of the end? Now, I want to just reference it before you answer with, I always say, look, we talk about the attack on free speech and how it's potentially coming. I say it's already here. You see that with AB, what was it, 2655 that Gavin Newsom signed 2 nights ago with AI and censorship in California. It's already here. Now we have the Secret Service going after Elon Musk. Your thoughts?
Yes. The Democrat Party is the party of censorship. Okay. It is the left, it is the rhetoric of this party that for those claiming to be for free speech, right? They're not. They are a party that I would say is divisive and only brings division to this country. And clearly Elon was joking. Clearly he was. He was making a joke. But for the Secret Service to go after Elon, they based on political prosecution, and which is the same thing they are doing with Donald Trump, and it's it's just, I think, asinine to me that
It is.
these people think it's okay to do that, Chris.
Well, Angela, and
It's
the crazy
yeah.
thing is we just had another assassination attempt
Mhm.
on the man's life. I mean,
Yes.
how are we going to be concerned with going after Elon Musk? We already have an issue with delegating tasks in the Secret Service. It should not be that the Secret Service is investigating counterfeit bills. Yet they are. You find a counterfeit bill, you're a grocery store owner, a deli owner. Guess who comes and picks up the bill? The Secret Service comes and picks up the bill. How is it that the Secret Service is concerned about counterfeit money and what Elon Musk is saying online, but yet when it comes to Donald Trump's life, they're just, oh, whatever, no problem, they say. But Angelo, to your point, it is absolutely crazy, and it's kind of crazy that the left doesn't ask these questions also.
They
because
don't.
it's a bipartisan issue, Angelo. It's a bipartisan issue.
It is. It is. It's the Secret Service's duty has one job: protect the president. That's it. That's it. Your duty is to protect the president of the United States, whether that be Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
100%.
That is your sole duty. Your duty is not to go after someone for making a reference on social media, right? That in itself is censorious, and I would even go as far as to say authoritarianistic, I think, right?
Oh, I agree with you 100%, my man. I agree with you 100%. All I can do is hope that, people like yourself, man, you're a very bright young man. People like me, people like us are going out talking to our peers, enlightening them on the truth, help guide people to the light. You know, you could bring the horse to water. You might not be able to force it to drink, but who knows? It might get thirsty and bend over and have a drink. So let's bring everybody to the water, because America is deprived of water right now and thirsty as all hell. I'm trying to make an analogy here. The people in the chat are going to laugh at me, but you know, it's you get what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, Chris, this is the greatest country on this planet. This is the greatest country on this planet. And we have to come together as a country. We have to, right?
100%.
And it is concerning to me that we have people who would seek to upend every single thing that the founding fathers fought for, along with this country as a whole. And yeah, I mean, to quote Vivek Ramaswamy, if you censor people, that's when they start to scream, right? And we can't have that. You know, we live in a country where we are able to have civil conversations, right?
Yep. 100%.
That's why, you know, so yeah.
Well, 100%, Angelo. And I got to tell you, man, everybody, if you're not following Angelo, please go check out his page at the Angelo Soto. Great guy, young conservative, making a difference amongst young people, fresh out of college. I'm sure he made a difference throughout the 4 years that he was there as well. This is a guy who you want to get to know. If you don't know Angelo, check out his page. It's at the Angelo Soto. That's the Angelo Soto, SOTO. Check him out. Please shoot him a follow, shoot him a message. Angelo, I'm sure you'll message people back if they reach out to you with any questions.
Yes.
But I mean, Angelo, I appreciate your time. I know it's very valuable, and you provide a lot of value to this community, and you provided a lot of value to the show tonight, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Absolutely. Please, guys, go follow Angelo if you're not already. And Angelo, we're going to have you on again very soon, as long as you're available and want to come back on.
Of course, man. Thank you. Have a good one, okay? Thank you.
Have a great night. Appreciate it. Another great patriot. Guy right around my age as well. Love to see it. Love to see it. This is great stuff. All right, here's what we're going to do next. We've got Greg. Yes, everybody in the chat. We have Greg from the Generation Mars podcast coming on next. Don't go anywhere except to the pantry to put the popcorn in the microwave. Press that popcorn button. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a drink of water. Then we're going to talk to Greg from the Generation Mars podcast. I love this guy, and I love this guy's show. If you want a show, you want to be entertained, informed, in a fun, digestible way, go follow the Generation Mars podcast on Rumble. All right, we'll be right back, and then we're going to have in Greg.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says,
What's up, everyone? First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in to another live episode of Live with Chris's World. And I want to let you all know about a new exciting opportunity that we have for the audience. So if you're a patriot who's looking to get on camera and be on a podcast, well, here at Live with Chris's World, we want to give you that opportunity. So look, at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than having the conversations and talking about the issues. So I am personally extending an invitation to any patriot listening to this right now that wants to come share their thoughts, their takes, their opinion on a political current event on Live with Chris's World. All you got to do is follow me, shoot me a DM, a direct message, and I'll be sure to get back to you.
You're tuned in to Chris's World, a daily podcast covering the controversial topics of today through a conservative, patriotic lens. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Chris's World, only on X.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue.
Wow. You heard that right. It's the former chief of Border Patrol, Aaron Hicks. Hike. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Maybe somebody spell it out for me. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. That is crazy. Now, I'm going to talk to Greg a little bit about the Trump rally. I threw this kind of in here last second. I'm sure he's not going to mind giving his thoughts and opinions on this right out of the shoot here. Sorry, Greg. Just a little forward. I know I didn't give you a warning on this topic, but look, I know you know your stuff. And I know you're going to have something fiery to say about this. We're going to bring in Greg from the Generation Mars podcast. If you don't know him, you should know him, but you're going to get to know him right now. Freaking love this dude. Yes.
I got my music all tuned up for you, ready to go.
Love it, dude.
What's up, Chris, man? Dude, you bring the energy. You bring the energy, man. I've been listening to you now for all this week, and dude, Wednesday. You were on fire, brother. You were on fire. Things were pissing you off, I bet.
People were pissing me off, man. Look, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and on Wednesday, we were certainly fired up. Greg, I appreciate you coming on, man. Really value your time. Real quick, for anybody who doesn't know about your show, can you tell them what's your show? When's it airing? I know, of course, but for anybody who might not.
Well, I do Generation Mars podcast Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, and that's 9:30 on the East Coast. It's a live stream show. I turn it into an audio podcast when I'm done with it. But what we do is we cover all the spectrum of political that's going on. I personally like the tool of ridicule, like my friends over at Babylon Bee, and I always bring a twist of humor to things just to kind of, poke it in the face of a lot of these socialist, progressive, death cult scumbags. Let's just call it that. I'm all about defeating ideas that are bad. That's what I like to do.
Well, and there's certainly a lot of bad ideas out there right now. Greg.
Yes.
Like allowing all of these illegals to just come over the border without any need to check or process who the hell they are. So here we have Aaron Hicks, or however the hell you pronounce this guy's last name, basically confirming what we already knew. We, of course, know that all of these illegals are coming over the border. We, of course, know that it doesn't take any money or any new laws to shut down the border. You just implement the laws that already exist. But the Biden-Harris administration has simply refused to turn their head in that direction and even acknowledge it, let alone address fixing it. They don't even acknowledge that there's an issue. You know, they say in Alcohol Anonymous or AA, the first step is saying I have an issue. Yeah. Right. The Biden Harris administration, they've never acknowledged it. So what's your thoughts on this? I'm sure you're not surprised.
Okay, so I saw that video and I appreciate him coming out as a whistleblower and really showing the political side of it and how the political side of it is actually damaging our country. Now, I also saw another video at this same oversight committee from a guy named Mr. Cochran, I think is his name. And he broke it down really good. And what he says, there's two different schools of thought. And that's what we're seeing being played out right before our eyes. So one school of thought says we need to restrict people coming into this country. And the exceptions are those that will help our economy, are those that we can vet out. And we definitely, maybe they got family members here and stuff like that. And we want to reconnect it with that. So that's very traditional, very conservative way of looking at the security of our borders, the security of having people coming in and immigrating to our country. The other school of thought is saying that we should have no borders because it's not our privilege, American citizens, to block people from coming in whatsoever. And that's the school of thought that the Democrats are taking. And he broke it down. I mean, I'm just, of course, scrapping on it secondhand here, but the way he brought it about, I was just like, there it is. What we're looking at is two sets of different values of how to look at not only the Constitution, but national security. And one of them is very stinking dangerous. And that's the one that the Kamala Biden administration is giving to us right now. So don't believe her when she says, oh, I got a plan for the border. When she says I got a plan for the border, look in the hidden meetings. That means she's just going to make this worse according to the value system that she has, which is, hey, we should have no borders.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, they'll point the finger and tell the border cities or cities like Springfield, Ohio, to deal with the issue that they are promoting and contributing to. But as soon as you send these illegals to Martha's Vineyard, they'll freak out and send them somewhere else.
They'll nicely and passively put you on a van out of the place, and they'll be, oh, we love you, bye.
Yeah.
They're so phony. By the way, in the chat, I went ahead and put the link to that one oversight committee video that I'm talking about, where the guy breaks it down, the two different sets of values. He was great. Check him out.
Love it. Yeah, definitely check that out. And yeah, I mean, it is nuts, but it's something that, of course, it's the cat's been out of the bag. Okay, the cat's out of the bag.
Yep.
The neighborhood near you.
Pun intended.
Absolutely. The cat's out of the bag. Greg, so what about this Trump rally last night in New York? I mean, what are we thinking with New York? Because every time Trump goes to New York, people are jumping out of the gym for him.
Yeah. Well, it's Long Island too.
Please welcome
here we go.
The next president of the United States,
hear it.
President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know
That's a big pop, dude. The people are going nuts.
It's up to 60,000 people. They had to sit people outside of that thing. What does that tell you about Long Island?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is like, is there how much potential is there to flip New York? I mean, you look at and I know it's far-fetched, right? But
it's NYC though. That's the thing. There's millions of people that live there. And that's what makes up for, smaller places like Nassau County, or maybe New York State.
Like the Hudson Valley. I'm from upstate New York.
That's all red. That's all red. You look at the district maps. That's all stinking red. It's just that little thing around Manhattan Island that serves about 8 million people that mostly vote blue.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's
at least here in California. It's mostly blue. There's only like little counties that are red. So it's a little more evened out, but over there in New York, it's uneven. It's totally uneven.
It's one of those things that I I just scratch my head trying to make sense of it, because I ask these Democrats, like, what has blue done for you? They've overrun your city. They've raised your taxes. The inflation is through the roof. Look at the cost of rent. I mean, I just don't understand how anybody in Manhattan can look at the situation and say, yeah, let's run it back for another 4.
T, E, and S. That's what it is.
Well, you're right. That is what it is. People are so emotional about Donald Trump that they can't see things like that. So a lady asked Donald Trump this is a long video. It's 3 minutes. We're not going to play the full thing. I'll try to play a minute of it here. But he gives a great response in regards to rising prices and things like that. I encourage people, if you're listening to this and you have people in your life who are unsure about the election, the best thing that you can do is send them clips of Donald Trump knocking shit out of the park, because it comes right from his mouth. There's no he said, she said bullshit. Now, there's a lot of liberals out there who will still not believe Donald Trump, even if he says something. Like, I'm not associated with Project 2025, but yet they still continue to mention Project 2025.
Over and over.
It's the most ridiculous thing. But there is a third party out there, and they're always watching and they're always listening. Those are going to be the people that decide this election. But anyway, Greg, I'm going to play this video, and then I want to get your reaction to it.
Sure.
Good evening, President Trump. Thank you for taking our question. My name is Barbara. I'm a mom of 3, a grandmother of 7, and 3 great-grands, a registered nurse, retired nurse. So I know the cost that goes into raising children and running a household.
Yeah.
People just can't survive now. How are you going to bring down the cost of food and groceries?
Good. Very good. Thank you. So we have to start always with energy. Always. I don't want to be boring about it, but there's no bigger subject. It covers everything. If you make donuts, if you make cars, whatever you make, energy is a big deal. And we're going to get that. It's my ambition to get your energy bill within 12 months down 50%. If I can do that, we've done a hell of a job. 5-0, not 15, 50. Interest rates are going to follow, and actually they're going to follow for another reason. The economy is now not good. And interest rates, you'll see they'll do the rate cut and all the political stuff tomorrow, I think. And, will he do a 0.5 point? Will he do a 1/4 point? But the reason is because the economy is not good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. But we're going to get interest rates down, and we got to work with our farmers. Our farmers are being decimated right now. They're being absolutely decimated.
So, Greg, I mean, the number one issue when you look at inflation is the energy, right?
Yes.
Now, you could look at the oil production that we have in this country, and we do produce a good amount of oil right now, but it's how the oil is being used. Where is it being sent to? Why is it not bringing down prices? If you're because they'll always say, well, we've produced the most oil more oil this year than we ever had. And okay, so then in what area is this whole thing getting fucked up? Because clearly it's not working. You could say you're producing as much oil as you want to say you're producing, but inflation and costs are still going up. And these businesses are looking at margins and saying we have to pass that cost down to the consumer. Because look, products have to get from manufacturer to the retail store and the shelf. And they get there by boat and fucking airplane, which takes oil, gasoline.
Lots of it. Gallons. Well, also too, oil. Remember, oil makes these things too. So, there's manufacturing oil. It's not just on gasoline and energy. It's also for plastics and, all the stuff that we produce here in the United States. So let's just be fair about that. But if we do get back to a schedule where we're not buying oil from foreign countries like Venezuela or like, what's the other? Saudi Arabia, we also buy a lot of oil from, and we get back to be energy independent here, then I would love to see a 50% decrease in inflation. 50, that is huge. Now, we all know Trump. Trump doesn't talk out his ass when it comes to economics. If he thinks he can do it, then he's probably got some killer plan to do it. It's probably not going to happen in, the first 100 days, but probably somewhere around the end of 2025, you're probably going to see that. And you are going to see a drastic coming down. And also, too, with the Feds recently dropping down the interest rate by a half a point, then I believe you're probably going to see dropping even more by the end of 2025 quarter. And then, of course, the real estate market will pick up, and then you'll get a lot more of, wealth within middle class and upper middle class again.
Well, we got to, and it looks like maybe things can turn around. They certainly will turn around under Donald Trump's leadership as well. It's and when you look at the type of regulations that she wants to impose, 40% capital gains, 25% unrealized gains tax, price gouging laws for grocery and supermarkets. Like, these are things where you put in those price gouging laws, the first issue you're going to have is jobs, because all of these retail stores are just going to fire people.
Yeah.
So these strategies, though they may sound good to the uneducated ear, when you start to put it into practice, you quickly realize, this ain't going to work. And this is why communism and socialism has never worked.
Yeah. And you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together and you start to go, whoa, that's a very traditionally un-American idea on how to do free market. And then you start to go, oh, where did they get this stuff from? Well, they get it from organizations like the WEF or like global initiatives coming out of the United Nations or things like that. Start looking at those programs and you'll see exactly what they want to do. They want to make America a global equal with lots of other countries. So what does that mean? That means they have to diminish our presence on the global stage. And that's what Obama started to do when he started feeding us that BS about change. I want change. And so people think, oh yeah, no, a societal change where we could get along better. No. He meant he wanted to change the Constitution. That's what he meant. And that's what these guys mean. These progressives, I'm telling you, the Constitution gets in their way. And that's why you'll hear goofballs like Joe Biden say, nothing's absolute in the amendments, or nothing's absolute in the Constitution. I'll say stupid stuff like that. Or you need a F-16 to come against us when it comes to the Second Amendment. He doesn't even understand the Constitution. He doesn't understand unalienable rights. He doesn't understand that the Constitution is a tyranny suppressor. It's not necessarily this liberty free for all. That's not what the Constitution's talking about.
Constitution, a wonderful document.
It's meant to keep those who get a little bit of power, have a little bit of influence, to stay here and never get up here.
Yeah,
so it spreads everything out amongst us all, including we the people.
Well said. It's well said. I mean, I'll piggyback on it with the Constitution is a beautiful document where the people tell the government how to govern.
Yeah.
That people tell the government what's allowed and what's not allowed. Now in 2024, they think that it's the reverse way.
They base their overall thought on the experts. It's a very progressive idea. Whatever the experts say is what the direction we want to go. That's not a good thought, because the experts aren't always the people, or the voice of the majority of the people, according to the representation and stuff like that. So that's not a good direction to go, folks. Stay away from that ideology. It's horrible.
It's not good.
It'll get you killed. Like in COVID time. That was bad understanding of how to manage people. And that's why a lot of people died. It wasn't because we didn't get the vaccine out fast enough, or because people didn't stay home, or it's because it was bad management. And I would say, according to, I don't know if you've seen the recent Louder with Crowder undercover Mug Club video, where they caught the guy.
I didn't see it, but
boy, that boiled my blood, because I'm like, this guy, he doesn't even believe his own rules, but he's going to mandate a whole population in New York to do these stupid COVID rules, or stupid and lose jobs and family members and all kinds of crazy stuff.
We've seen it before. These Democrats, they were telling you to mask up. And then you saw them all together partying without.
They were so phony. Don't ever believe those type of leaders, folks. they will get you killed more than they'll keep you alive. That's just the reality. That's just the reality.
Yeah. So last night,
I'm getting all fired up. See what you did to me, Chris?
I know. Well, here, this might fire you up too. Before I let you go here, I want to talk to you about one more thing.
Go for it.
The spending bill was denied last night. The spending bill also contains the SAVE Act, which would prevent illegals from voting in the election. Are you kidding me? How are these Democrats? Only 3 Democrats say yeah, 206 say no.
Yeah.
So you guys look, this is the plan. This is the plan. And it's not even necessarily about the presidential election. It's the down ballot.
Yeah.
It's the down ballot as well. Greg, it just seems so simple. Why would you allow people into the country and then allow them to dictate the show?
Well, according to all of the left magazines or left news articles, they all say, well, it's already illegal for to allow non-citizens to vote. And that's their excuse. They'll say, well, it's already illegal. Why do we need to create the SAVE Act? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. In Oklahoma, I just saw this article recently. They did a purge of their people that aren't supposed to be voting. That would include people that are on the registration but are no longer alive. That would include illegal aliens, which they had 14,000, I believe, illegal aliens on the ballot. Or that would include people that no longer live in the state. Or, there's like 4 other reasons. But they did a purge. And I'm thinking that's what each state needs to do to get America trusting that this isn't going to be a rigged election. Because also another fact, 60-something% of Americans believe that this election coming up is going to be rigged. 60%.
It's 100% going to be rigged. There's no doubt about it. You mentioned the language of the SAVE Act and how, well, it's already illegal. Well, this particularly will enforce it.
Right. It'll give it a backbone. It'll give it a spine. Yeah. Exactly.
What ends up happening is the blue states, they just don't check. They don't care. So you have an illegal who goes to the DMV, they hand them an ID, and boom, you're good to vote. There is no checking. Now, of course, in red states, it doesn't work that way, but the SAVE Act would enforce states to validate that U.S. citizens are the ones registering to vote and that illegals don't. It's just so simple.
And it's going to be done mostly at the motor vehicle places because they just assume that they're a citizen. And so they don't force them, obviously, because they're there to get an ID. So they're not necessarily going to force them to show ID to make sure you check off that box with some kind of verification. So that's what's happening. I know here in California, I mean, I haven't seen an investigative reporting yet on it, but I'm telling you, someone needs to investigate the DMVs over here in the state of California. I know in my area over here, which is Needles, California, my wife has seen tons of foreigners that do not live in that area, just huddling at the DMV, and they're just one after another. I'm talking like North African, not like southern border states of California or border countries of California. I'm talking like very the continent of Africa,
I know what you're saying.
the Middle East and all those areas, and they're coming out of nowhere. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep. So, Greg, man, I appreciate you coming on this show, like always, brother. Value your time, value your thoughts, your opinions. Again, guys, make sure you're following the Generation Mars podcast. Greg is live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. He comes on right after my show. My show ends right before 9:30.
Yep.
So make sure you're following the Generation Mars podcast at Gen Mars Podcast. Check him out on Rumble. Great patriot and an excellent show that he puts on every week.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Talk to you later, Chris.
Later. Another great patriot, Greg, Generation Mars podcast. Make sure that you are following Greg and checking out all of his content and being up to date with his next show next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to take a quick break here. We will be bringing in Jason Stands for Truth. Great friend of mine. You guys, I'm sure, love Jason. He comes on the show quite often. great patriot, does a lot on X. I mean, this guy is working, and he's working hard, making a difference and moving the needle. So Jason stands for truth. Coming in next, we're going to talk about Trump on Gutfeld last night. Should be a real fun conversation. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says,
I have to pause it. I'm honestly getting pissed listening to it because, of course, Joe fucking Biden comes out and starts to say the right things when it's his rhetoric that caused the divide that our nation has today. Yep. This is Joe Biden's fucking fault for calling on people to, he's a threat to democracy. He's a threat. And it's just, he's a threat. You hear, and we'll play the clips for you in a second.
Well, you see articles comparing him to Hitler, like
You're tuned in to Chris's World, a daily podcast covering the controversial topics of today through a conservative, patriotic lens. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Chris's World, only on X.
Hey, Jason.
I couldn't get enough from yesterday, so I had to be back.
What's going on, brother? How are you tonight?
I am good. Really quick, shout out to Chris's grandma. Chris is doing a good job.
Love it. Give me a shout
I talk to Chris a lot on the phone because we're doing a lot, and he really does work to keep the language down. So he's good. I love Chris. We're brothers.
I really do try to keep the language.
Yeah.
I really do try. So
when you get frustrated, I know.
It's a frustrating time.
Yeah, definitely.
So we had a nice break in the frustration though yesterday when Donald Trump joined Gutfeld for some fun and entertainment, maybe a little laugh. It was a pretty good show. I got to catch most of it, but Tyrus, which we played the walkout last night. Tyrus from WWE. If you know Tyrus from Fox, you got to check out last night's show. I was supposed to have it queued up, now that I think of it. Damn.
Now you got the videos I sent you, right?
I on X.
I sent them through you a text message, so you might have earlier, like an hour before the show.
Okay. I have to check my phone. I've been playing. It's been a lot, but let me play this for you real quick, Jason, and I'm going to check the phone right now.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for WrestleMania 4 and 5, by the way. Thank you very much. But if you're going to sit in that chair, if you're going to do the Tyrus experience, you have to do it right because you are the people's champion, Mr. Trump.
Wow.
And on behalf of all the people of America,
Wow.
Now I'm really.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's a good one.
that's the man who makes all the professional ones.
Beautiful, yeah.
There you go.
It's a crowd. No, but this is the real one. This is a real deal. This is,
No, I'm going to give a fake belt to the next president.
We're more used to that. Thank you, Tyrus.
You are the people's champion. Thank you for WrestleMania.
Really
4.
is the people's champion. That is an awesome gift, an awesome, awesome moment there by Tyrus. What are your thoughts, Jason?
The second video was that anyway, so you don't have to play that one. But no, I really think that's awesome. And my favorite line in there was Trump like, "This is really heavy. This is a real deal. Like, I'm going to give the next president of the United States a fake belt." Like, I liked Tyrus. I watched him in the WWE a little when he was there until he left. I don't watch I watch one other AEW, but I don't watch the show that he went to. But he's just always, I love his conservative or his independent take on the political stances we have. And so I just thought that was such a touching moment. I'm like, Chris, we got to talk about this. We have to. That was so cool. And for people listening to our podcast that aren't wrestling fans, Trump goes way back in wrestling. So in 2007, he and Vince McMahon were going to do a segment where Trump was buying the WWE. It was going to be a huge thing, and they were going to wrestle over it in the end. And they were doing the plot where Trump bought the WWE, and then tragically a wrestler killed himself and his wife, and they just canceled that whole thing because Chris Benoit did what he did. And so they cut it, but it was so cool. I was always like a Trump fan because of that. I always loved when he came out. And so
WrestleMania 23 with the head shave, probably Ashley versus Umaga.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And so to see him give Donald Trump a belt with his name on, I just thought it was cool. I'm like, we got to talk about this because being wrestling fans that we are.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great, dude. I absolutely loved it as well. Hey, so I want to play this second video that you sent me in regards to should the importation of fentanyl be a terrorist act? It absolutely should be. And here's Donald Trump speaking about that.
Yes. Mr. President, can I ask you a question? We're talking about the border, not just all the young military-age men that are coming across this country, the fentanyl that's coming across this country.
Terrible.
If you were in office, would you consider taking importation of fentanyl as a terrorist act? Because if you count it under terrorism, then our Department of Defense can get involved. We give our law enforcement a break.
Correct. Well, and you can even go further than that.
Yeah, I mean, you could send pictures of their mansions to certain individuals in Mexico.
And by the way, these are really rich people. These are the cartel people. These are really rich. Look, we can play games, and we can be nice, and we can be smart. You're never going to, I set up blue ribbon committees. Friends of mine, could I get on a committee? They didn't know the first thing about it. They don't know about El Chapo. They don't know about, these are very smart, hardened people. And, I'm setting up a blue ribbon committee with socialites from New York and California. It's ridiculous. And they don't even want to talk about it. They talk about it for 2 minutes, then they start talking about society. The only way you're going to stop this is the death penalty for drug dealers. I don't know if this country is ready for it, but if you think about it, each drug dealer on average kills 500 people on average. He or she, drug dealer, kills 5. I know so many families who
look, in a nutshell, we're talking about drugs is a serious issue in this country. I mean, you've got some states who don't think that it's that serious at all, like Oregon, but you got to put an end to the importation of the lethal drugs like fentanyl. And, obviously you're not going to sentence somebody to the death penalty that doesn't live in America. I mean, if they're in America and they get arrested here, sure. But you go at the cartels in Mexico. And I think Trump 100% will be doing that when he gets into office.
Well, here's the deal, and this is a serious thing. Fentanyl is bad. I live in Seattle, Tacoma area, and they kind of legalized drugs here too. Now they're kind of trying to backwalk it, but it's very blue. It's ridiculous. They do this stuff. I don't like it. But here's the thing. I've had somebody in one of my spaces I ran a few years ago whose son thought he was taking ibuprofen because he had a headache, and there was fentanyl in it, and he died. Do you realize that's murder? That tragically, she will never forget that. Every year on the date that her son died, she is tragically always having to think about that. It's a serious deal. They are killing people bringing this stuff into our country. Trump is right. We have got to, these people deserve the death penalty. They deserve to be locked up and dealt with for passing this out. Innocent people are dying. It's not somebody going, oh, I choose fentanyl. Let me take some fentanyl. No, it's being put in stuff. In some cases, if you touch it, it can make you sick, and you could even die that way. That it's a serious thing, Chris. We can't have this. And I know, like I said, I know somebody whose son died from this, and so I agree with Trump. This is a serious enough thing that it should be considered for that.
I've got a high school friend who died in 2020 from fentanyl. It is a very serious thing. CW says the death penalty is for the cartel. They are dealers. Free Castle says, absolutely. I agree. You got to bring the death penalty to these guys. Now, of course, they have to be in America, right? You have to arrest them and catch them here. So if they're here, if they're in America, we got to catch these bastards, arrest them, and execute accordingly.
I agree with that. I do. 100%. And I think that was a good clip to play. That's why I was like, we got to talk about it, because fentanyl is, I mean, with the border wide open, you know what's going on. And it's not a funny thing. It really, people are tragically losing their lives from this. And so I know you and I talk about it, and we'll continue to talk about it, but we have to get the word out to other people. If you have a platform that you are doing a podcast and you're listening to our show and you're listening to Chris and I, if you run a space on X, you need to get the word out. This is a serious thing. You can't just let it go. We have got to make sure that people know this is a very deadly thing. Fentanyl is no joke. So,
no, it's absolutely not. It's absolutely not. And the only way that it's going to get resolved, the way that we stop this, again, like you're saying, we got to go at the cartel. We need to prosecute those members of the cartel that are currently in the United States. We need a mass deportation. That's what we
exactly need. Yeah, we do. I like what Trump's saying. On day one, he's going to deport the illegals. People are like, oh, that's cruel. It's not cruel. Look what's going on in our country. Look at the people you and I have been talking about for months that have been murdered innocently by illegal immigrants. We have to take our country seriously. No country is as Trump says, and I know that we say it. I wish I could do the Trump voice, but I can't. No country is a country. Yeah. No country is a country without borders. And we have to have borders. And if illegals are killing innocent people and we're bringing fentanyl across the border, I agree. It's very serious. And I'm glad that we talked about this today.
Me too, man. Me too. We got to keep raising, our voices on these important issues. So,
agreed.
Jason, man, your space Counterpoint every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Tell us about it real quick.
So we run a space every Tuesday night. We are 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. A lot of us hosts and the co-hosts and some of the panel are on the West Coast. Not everybody. We do have a couple East Coast people. So we start at that time, but everybody is welcome. We only go 4 hours. We open with some audio clips. We talk about the current events going on. I mean, it takes a lot of prep the first couple days before the show because it's a 4-hour show. And so we do that. We play a Paul Harvey at the end of the show and do final thoughts for the speakers that have speakers. So we kind of bring some old school to it, but we just have a lot of fun. And if you're on X and want to check us out, you can. If not, it's okay. There's a lot of things. There's so much to do. I'm not worried about it,
Well, go check them out, guys. If you're on X, take a quick second. Check out and follow Jason Stands for Truth. Be sure, if you're free on a Tuesday night, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, stop by his space, Counterpoint. Head in there, talk to Jason, talk to his co-host. These are great people, great patriots, so approachable. They welcome everybody with open arms, and I would 100% recommend, if you don't know Jason, shoot him a follow, message him, and get to know him. He's a great guy, and I'm sure he can help you in more ways than one.
Definitely. And by the way, my cats are safe too. Chris puts a post up every night about his cat being safe, which I think is cool. My cats are safe too. No cats have been harmed here.
Love it. Love it. That's good to hear. Our cats are safe. Our cats.
Yes. All right. I'll see you again.
Man, thank you for coming on tonight, brother. I'm going to close out this show, and I really value your time as always. You're a great friend, a great patriot, and you add so much value to the community, my friend.
Thank you, my brother. And I'm always honored to be here, and I'm always honored to share with you and your followers and your friends on Rumble too. And I'm building an account for Rumble, by the way. In the next week or two, I'll have a Jason Stands for Truth Rumble that we can call out too. So
love it. Yes, so Jason Stands for Truth. Everybody in the Rumble chats, be ready sometime next week or the week after. We will be, Jason will be launching his account. That's awesome news. Love to hear it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Jason, we'll catch you next time, my friend.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you, brother. Jason is a great, great friend of mine. Guys, you got to make sure you're following Jason Stands for Truth. If you're not already, I'm sure most of you are, but definitely go get to know Jason. Great patriot. So, folks, this show is coming to an end here. Real quick, before I close this out, guys, I started a newsletter, and I would really appreciate it if you checked it out, gave it a quick look. It's called the Free Voice Media Newsletter. Here it is. If you are somebody who wants a daily newsletter, we'll never send you crap. We'll never send you garbage. It's completely free, but you're going to get truth. You're going to get facts. We filter the news so you don't have to. This is this morning's newsletter. Like I said, you subscribe. It's totally free. It gets sent to your email. Trump granted presidential security. The Democrats voting against the spending bill, analysis and a breakdown of all of these events, Trump's rally in Long Island. It's a quick read, but you get a lot of good information as well. You could subscribe to it. The link for the newsletter is in the comment section on Rumble from the Doubted Views account. Check it out, please. I'd really, really appreciate your feedback as well. If you like the newsletter, what do you think I should add? Give me some constructive criticisms or a thumbs up. Hey, this is great. Keep them coming. I'd really appreciate any feedback, and I'd appreciate your subscription. It's totally free. So, Live with Chris's World every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on Rumble, and you can catch us on X. So I'm done for the week. I will be back on Monday, and I really hope everybody has a great weekend. Shout out to the chat, Free Castle, CW, MAGA Woman, Generation Mars in there as well. We had a bunch of you guys in there and really appreciate your participation. So I hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and we will be back on Thursday night for another episode, or on Monday night, for another episode of Live with Chris's World. All right, take care, everyone.